fear about God, someone has to tell them. We are all called to tell others about God's love. Going beyond merely acknowledging Him to really knowing our King Jesus. Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, I just thank you for the foundation of believing. Thank you for teaching us how to believe in you. But God, I just ask that you would take us beyond belief and into knowing who you really are, your power and your love, and then for us to be able to go and tell others about your love. Just be with me, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay. They went across the lake to the region of the Gerasenes. When Jesus got out of the boat, a man with an impure spirit came from the tombs to meet him. The scripture today is from Mark 5, 1 through 20. It's a lot of verses, but I don't feel like I can leave any out because of the story it tells and the lesson that's there. So we have a map, if Diana can find that. There's a map of the Sea of Galilee and the location of the area of the Gerasenes, just to show you the setting. So if you look at the map, you see some events that were of Jesus, or some sites of Jesus' ministry to the top of the map. Sermon on the Mount, the multiplication of the fish and loaves. That area is mostly Jews. That's where the Jews lived. Now, you can see the lines of his travels, Jesus, across the Sea of Galilee. He went back and forth several times. But then you see, and this is probably just some of the events. I'm sure they were all over, but I found this map interesting. So you can see Jesus went clear to the other side of the Sea of Galilee, to the area we call the Gerasenes. This area was populated by Gentiles. Okay. They were the cities to the east of the Sea of Galilee and the River Jordan, which make up the area called Gerasenes. Some commentaries believe Jesus went to the other side of the sea solely to heal the possessed man, which we're going to read about. While crossing the sea, Jesus calmed the storm. We all know that story. That's found in Mark 4, 39 through 41. So in the Bible, that's just right before the story we're getting ready to read. After Jesus commanded the wind to be still, he asked his disciples why they were afraid. Verse 41 says, they were filled with great fear and said to each other, who then is this that even the wind and the sea obey him? Who then is this that even the wind and the sea obey him? Even the disciples, so the disciples are in the boat with him, even the disciples are reminded to look past the evil and discover who Jesus is, to really know him. Excuse me. This passage is a narrative, or a written account of connected events. It's also found in two other Gospels, Matthew 8, 28 through 34, and Luke 8, 26 through 39. I stand here with limited knowledge, so I would urge all of you to read this story on your own and let God reveal what he will to you. In Matthew, the author of Matthew's account wrote of two possessed men, with only one being Pirtle. So I like the story I'm going to use the passage from Mark because of the details. So again, it's a long passage, but now we have a picture of the tombs. So we will read that the man or men lived among the tombs. And so what are the tombs? We think, the first thing that came to my mind was our cemeteries. But it was quite different than what our cemeteries are today. The dead would not be buried within the limits of the village or town. The bodies of the dead were kept in cave-like areas until the flesh had decomposed, and then the bones were collected and placed in a box. And I share that just so you can try to imagine the setting of where the men were living. We can only imagine this horrific place being unfit for human habitation. And for a Jew, The idea of living in such a place would have been even more horrifying, since it implied perpetual uncleanness. Just try for a minute to imagine the torment and horror of the demoniac's existence, isolated, rejected, and hopeless. The mere mention of such things makes people at least uncomfortable, and many steer clear from studying these passages, and I'm guilty. I especially didn't want to speak about it. But I want to emphasize that the evil possession is not the star of this passage of Scripture. Jesus is the star. So I pray this message gives all glory to Jesus. And as we read this story, I encourage you to focus on the evidence of who our King Jesus is. Okay, so we'll read the Scripture now. Mark 5, 1 through 20. They went across the lake to the region of the Gerasenes. When Jesus got out of the boat, a man with an impure spirit came from the tombs to meet him. This man lived in the tombs, and no one could bind him anymore, not even with a chain, for he had often been chained hand and foot. But he tore the chains apart and broke the irons on his feet. No one was strong enough to subdue him. Night and day among the tombs and in the hills, he would cry out and cut himself with stones. When he saw Jesus from a distance, he ran and fell on his knees in front of him. He shouted at the top of his voice, "What do you want with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? In God's name, don't torture me." For Jesus had said to him, "Come out of this man, you impure spirit." Then Jesus asked him, "What is your name?" "My name is Legion," he replied, "for we are many." And he begged Jesus again and again. He begged Jesus again and again not to send him out of that area. A large herd of pigs was feeding on the nearby hillside. The demons again begged Jesus. The demons begged Jesus, "Send us among the pigs. Allow us to go into them." He gave them permission, and the impure spirits came out and went into the pigs. The herd, about 2,000 in number, rushed down the steep bank into the lake and were drowned. Those tending the pigs ran off and reported this in the town and countryside. And the people went out to see what had happened. When they came to Jesus, they saw the man who had been possessed. They saw this man that had been possessed by the legion of demons, sitting there, dressed, in his right mind, and they were afraid. Those who had seen it told the people what had happened to the demon-possessed man, told about the pigs as well. Then the people began to plead with Jesus to leave their region. They asked Jesus to leave. As Jesus was getting into the boat, the man who had been demon-possessed begged to go with him. Jesus did not let him, but said, "Go home to your own people and tell them how much the Lord has done for you and how he has had mercy on you." So the man went away and began to tell in the different place how much Jesus had done for him, and all the people were amazed. Now we have a picture of a man in shackles. There is so much in this passage of Scripture, and you may be thinking, I should go one way or the other, and there's just a lot there. But I feel like as I was studying this, God highlighted 3 points, so I'll touch on them. Number 1, the significance of acknowledgement. The demoniac immediately acknowledged Jesus. Did you notice that? He knew who he was. There was no question. The demons had no question of Jesus' deity and power over legion. A legion, in that time, a military legion means 3,000 to 6,000 men. We read the demons entered a herd of 2,000 pigs, so there were at least that many demons in those men, or that man. That's a lot. I can't imagine the evil present there. But it really doesn't matter how many demons there were. One Jesus plus thousands of demons equals no match. Amen. James 2:19 says, "You believe that there is one God." Good. Even the demons believe that and shudder. And I've heard Kathy say that so much. Believing is foundational. A few weeks ago, it was January 29th, I sat there. Knew this was what I wanted to speak on, or what God wanted me to speak on. I did not want to speak on it. But Kathy asked us as a congregation to recite the Apostles' Creed. And we did. So we believe, right? We believe. My question is, should children, this is me, but should children of God stretch beyond just believing in God if even the demons believe? Amen. Should we stretch beyond that into knowing God and knowing His power, knowing His love? Should believers also be so familiar with God's power that we're not afraid when we see Him work miracles? Amen. As we read, the people were afraid. They said, "Get out of here. We don't want you around. We don't know what just happened." Should we know about the power that God has? And as Maggie played the song, we believe, the gates of hell, we sang this, the gates of hell will not prevail, for the power of God has torn the veil. We believe, and beyond, we can confidently add, because we know who He is. Number 2 point. Only Jesus can break the chains of sin. Jesus said, "Very truly I tell you, everyone who sins is a slave to sin." And that's in John 8:34. And that He came to set us free in verse 32. I find it hard to relate to that demoniac, the possessed man. Do you find it hard to relate to him? That's so far from what we can imagine. Or is it? I don't know. Do we all need a Savior? Do we all need deliverance from sin? Amen. Do we all need salvation? Amen. Was he left and forgotten? Look where Jesus went. I mean, you don't have to put that back up there, but He went purposely, I believe, Amen, to the other side of the sea, to the area of the Gentiles, us, and he made that trip. And He even had to perform a miracle on the way, which some theologians I read say Satan sent that storm so he would not go, and he would not set that man free. This is what that's who Jesus is. He didn't just stay up there where He could have. Evil has a way of taking hold in a person's life, all people's life. Sin forms a chain that only the Savior can break. In this story, the demons broke the chains, didn't they? They said He couldn't be held. The demons broke the chains, but was He free? He still was in the tombs. He still lived in the tombs, and I thought we do that too, don't we? Not to that degree, but we try and say, okay, I'm done with that, without allowing Jesus to come and help us. And then we're still in the tombs. We're still not free. Jesus is the one who holds the key to freedom. And this demoniac was only free when Jesus delivered him. No more chains. Jesus even taught us how to pray against evil in Matthew 6:13. And this is in the Lord's Prayer. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. We all need His deliverance and salvation. Amen. And then we have a picture of going back to our own people. Number 3, the third point. As after Kathy asked me to step up and do this, I thought, oh, that'll be right after Valentine's Day. I'll preach about God's love. That'll be great. And this is where He led me over and over, and I did not. And He finally showed me this is the greatest love story. It's a great love story. He reaches out to anyone, and He helps us all. So I'm thankful that He showed me that. So number 3, go evangelize. Verse 15. When they came to Jesus, they saw the man who had been possessed by the legion of demons sitting there, I'm reading it again, sitting there, dressed in his right mind, and they were afraid. He was free, clothed and sane, yet they were afraid. As Jesus was getting into the boat, this is verses 18 through 20 again. So Jesus was getting ready to leave, because they asked Him to. And the man who had been demon-possessed begged to go with Him. Jesus did not let him. I wonder why. But He told him instead, go home to your own people and tell them how much the Lord has done for you. and how he has had mercy on you." So the man went away and began to tell in the Decapolis, which is an area of 10 cities, how much Jesus had done for him. And all the people were amazed. And later, they were amazed. So again, think beyond the evil possession. We're not focusing on that. Look at the victory and the victor. When Jesus breaks chains, the response is gratitude. People just want to serve him. He just wanted to go with him. He wanted to be around him. He saved him from, torment. In another gospel, it says, in the version of that story, it says, they beg him, "Please don't send us to our eternal abyss." So to me, I thought that proves they know the end. They know that Jesus is victor. They know that eventually they're going to the abyss.
Amen.
And they know that Jesus is the key. He's the king. I recently had to write an essay about a faith moment in my own life. So here's just 2 sentences. It was so neat, I just came across it. "My desire for more was surpassed as God revealed himself to me through his beautiful character. Overwhelmed by God's love, my only desire was to serve him more." So when our eyes are focused on the victor, we cannot help but want to learn more about him. We want to tell others about him.
Amen.
That's the way we're made. This is the universal response. Jesus assigned this man of the Gerasenes to evangelize to his own people. Evangelism is not reserved for foreign lands alone. Our own people need to hear what God has done for us, so that they can hear what God has done, and they can believe in God, and they can call out to God for their own salvation. The way you reach others will reflect the gifts and talents that God has given you. And evangelism looks different to all of us. And we can look around the room and see how, I could just stand here and say how each of you evangelize in your own ways. Have you been the recipient of evangelism? Think about that. After 9/11, I wanted to learn more about who God was. I heard that my neighbor was holding Bible study in her home. So I invited a coworker, and they went with me, and we walked in and we joined in the large crowd. As we entered, someone handed me this. And I thought, that has to cost $50. And you have a box of them right there, and you're handing them to everybody that comes in the door. That's evangelism. I learned about who King Jesus was at this home. And you know who this evangelist is. It's Kathy. Kathy and Jeff opened their home to, a lot of times, over 70 people. People were sitting on the floor, on the steps. But that, for me, was the time when I wanted more. I wanted to know more. So I'm thankful for their evangelism. So pray for God to lead you in serving him. He will. If you ask him, he'll show you. He'll open up doors you could not imagine.
Amen.
So I want to close with a quote from Matthew Henry. You may be familiar with his commentaries on this passage that we read about Jesus healing the demoniac in the Gerasenes. It says, "Those are best able to teach others the grace of God who have themselves had the experience of it. And those who are themselves taught of God ought to tell others what he has done for their souls, and so teach them." So are you standing on the foundation of acknowledging God? Do you have that foundation of believing in him? Have you experienced the grace of Jesus? Do you really know him? The one whose name causes Jesus to shudder. That's my King. Go beyond acknowledging Jesus and discover him and his power. And go tell your own people who King Jesus is. Thank you.
king.